Welcome to Oops All Segments.
Wow.
The very best podcast hitting your eardrums.
What a rebel. What a badass. Just moment. Blowing smoke at the camera.
I'm Kevin.
Thomas, I'm here with fucking...
Don't do drugs.
Yeah.
We're
fucking
a very
doctor.
anti-drug
Yeah,
podcast.
Kevin's actually Dankenstein's monster. Dankenstein was the name of the dealer. So he's actually... Dr. Dankenstein was the name of the dealer.
Are you implying that I'm smoking?
Kevin blows fat purple clouds every episode.
Don't talk about my sexual relationship with Grimace fetish and just get on to introducing our guest. Because I have never touched the
relationship or a fetish?
Lettuce. Both.
Okay.
Kara's got a costume.
This is off to a roaring start. We're here with friend of the show, Ben Krawchuk. Welcome, Ben. Thank you so much for joining us. If you had to have sex with one McDonald's character, who'd it be?
Hamburger. And you know why?
Okay, yeah.
Well, I love that you know, if I wanted to give an anecdote right off the bat, is that my first job was being the Hamburger.
Really?
Whoa.
Yes.
Is that
not
for
a
real?
bit
That's crazy.
at all? This is a real thing.
You mean like to feed your family, you stole burgers?
Oh, God.
I mean, wait a minute. That you just went up like 10 points in my sexiness book, because if you could get me in with Grimace, that would be sick.
Okay, I don't want to take anything in a direction that's off limits. Okay.
Okay.
What
about how this show started made you think there was anything?
Let me just say this. Then don't. You don't have to. You can stop anytime.
I just, there's things that Kevin needs to know, and is that I said first job, I was like 12 years old, and everyone else playing the characters was in that sort of range. So
sure.
Yeah.
The thing is, the reason why I associate Grimace with sexuality is that is the expression women usually make when I'm busting, when I'm sort of
and Grimace is sort of the size and shape of your member, right? And color. I guess I should have led with color, but
color. It takes up my entire body when I
remind me. Wait, what are the limits on child labor in Canada? 12-year-olds working at McDonald's.
No, that's not okay,
there?
Right? What the hell are you doing working at 12?
Well, hold on. Okay, now I feel like we're getting into a room where I could get someone in trouble now. I'm on edge.
If it's McDonald's, I think they're pretty bulletproof.
But I will say, apparently, Grimace is currently 54 years old.
Whoa.
Okay, zaddy.
Doesn't look it.
Yeah.
Looks great, because Grimace just had a birthday. Semi-recently, the big birthday Grimace shake and everything.
Yeah.
And what was that?
That must have been his 50th, right?
Maybe.
I think it said 52nd or something, because that was only a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, so I know you don't want to get people in trouble. I know you're protecting a lot of people. I know that there's sort of a wall of silence.
Did you read the email he sent us, Thomas? Because it was long. Like it was.
I signed the NDA before having Ben on, but I'm just curious, how much juice can you give us from the Hamburger days? It feels like there's more of a story here. You've been so reticent, even though you brought it up, to sort of share anything.
Well, I brought it up because Kevin was just talking about busting his nut with Grimace.
He was just making conversation.
That's fucking disgusting. I was just making conversation. Don't describe it that way. That's disgusting.
Don't describe it the way you said it.
That's insane.
Don't describe it verbatim because it makes it sound gross.
Yeah.
Well, coming from you.
Yeah, that's true. I have a way of just putting my own little stink on things.
Coming from you about coming from me was not appropriate.
And it's sort of like we're 69ing and then in that regard.
in a way.
This is enough. My mother listens to this show. Tell us about your 12-year-old job, for God's sakes.
God.
Did you steal the burgers? Were you dressed as the Hamburger? Just give me something. I feel like I'm fucking huffing fumes trying to be on this podcast with you two.
Which, by the way, we don't recommend and don't suggest people should do. Don't huff fumes. Don't smoke marijuana.
Also,
don't do anything like that.
You're the ones who are scraping the bottom of the barrel. You ran through your friends, and now you're getting to acquaintances to have on.
Yeah.
and out from under the gunk, I rise. You know. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
we were
like,
like,
that's not true. That's not true.
Well, I mean, certainly
we can always have our friends
yes.
back on the show. We cycle them in every now and then.
Yeah, we looked at the donor list for a JHG Kickstarter, and we found you.
Yeah,
we were like, I
He'd
guess
make a great filler episode.
Yeah, we can. Let's see, he'll probably be available. So great to have you on. Ben, what's going on with you outside of this? Because I don't know. I mean, you're self-conscious to do the show. You're self-conscious to share. I know vulnerability is scary for a man. Trust me, I know. But could you give us something? Could you give us a tidbit, just like a piece of who you are as a human, so we have something to work with on our end?
I mean, you said I got a lot of free time, perhaps in jest. Maybe not knowing that I'm recently unemployed.
Whoa.
I have tons of time.
It is so hilarious.
Sorry. No,
I didn't know your employer, so that makes me feel bad.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that after.
We can offline about
details about
They're
that.
not the ones that hired you at 12 years old, are they?
Yeah. Can you explain this gap in your resume from 12 to 29?
It is just the two jobs, both short-lived.
Right.
I did steal hamburgers technically actually, so there was one day of doing this, because I don't know if you guys recall, back in like, I would say mid 2000s, there was a lot of like McDonald's doing outreach for like doing special events and doing like, oh, we're trying to promote healthy lifestyles and do, active kind of outreach stuff for sports and things like that. Mm-hmm. And so I was dressing up as Hamburger and kind of going to a lot of those sorts of events. One of them was literally me and another employee who was a full adult, with this child in a Hamburger costume, driving around in a golf cart on a golf course. We would find someone's ball that they'd just hit, and we would run up, and I would have to replace it with a McDonald's cheeseburger, take the ball, and run back to the cart. That was my job insane. For a day.
And that would actually piss people off. That's why I guess that's the idea behind having a kid do it, but that's
should have called
up.
You Happy Meal Gilmore.
So. Oh, that's pretty good.
For some reason, that activated Siri on my phone when I said that.
It's keeping an eye out for
sometimes
good
she
jokes.
Listens in if I have a good bit. She wants to get involved. She's like, what else? That is a cool job. It's sort of the opposite of stealing a burger, though. You're gifting a burger.
That's what.
To someone
there was a bit of an.
Yeah, you're sort of a ball
like,
burgler in that way.
I am.
You were sort of a 12-year-old ball burglar. And the other thing
more
is,
often than not, I would say that the person would come back, see that there was a hamburger in place of their ball, and they would literally take their club and hit the burger.
That's bad.
And we were hiding
pickles
like
and mustard all over the field.
Exactly, we were hiding in the forest at that point, and we would just watch as this person got so upset about what we were doing.
Was this a promo or was it just a weird...
I think it technically was a promo. Listen, I was like 12. I just showed up and they were like, you're going to ride around on a golf cart and replace balls.
Who gave you this job? What is... This sounds...
we're getting into territory. I don't want to divulge anyone's identities.
Sounds like you were like a failed pilot for like Punk'd or something.
Yeah.
Were the
burgers wrapped in wax paper or were they just like on the grass? Like,
were they just
touching? It would be funny if it was just raw dog burgers.
Yeah,
on the green. No, they were wrapped up.
Okay,
but they were obliterated by the club and then would.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
I have to say
to me. Go ahead, Kev.
The Hamburglar. There's something really upsetting about the depiction of the Hamburglar, and that it sort of teaches kids that criminals are only going to reoffend. Criminals are only going to, they're not like it, but I guess it does point to a failure in the justice system to rehabilitate someone like the Hamburglar,
Yeah.
If he was on Maslow's hierarchy,
well, Mayor McCheese famously took on a sort of broken windows policy towards crime in the city of McDonald's.
He was a bit of a bastard.
Mayor McCheese? Oh yeah, totally.
He was deeply corrupt.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm just trying to find out if the Hamburglar has if we even know his name, or
I mean,
has he been so reduced to his life?
That's maybe the
crime?
saddest. Isn't that the saddest truth of all? That after all his crimes, we never even thought to find out anything about him.
Right. Yeah. You know,
like the Hamburger was a child once, working as a fake Hamburger at a golf course, just like Ben.
Right. And eventually, you know,
those kids
it's almost
grow
like
up.
We can see the sort of the quiet cuts back and forth between him as a child placing a hamburger onto the green and him as an adult sort of grabbing a hamburger and grabbing the green as he robs from the cash register of a minimum wage worker trying to clean the already broken ice cream machine.
You know, I'm learning a lot here today, and one of the things I'm learning is that the Hamburglar's design changed in the 80s. Previously, he was terrifying to look at.
Okay. Right. Can you pull up? Can you?
He's going to pull him up, and he's just going to be black coated, right? Is that what you're going to?
My God!
Whoa! Whoa! Let's see how large I can get this image here.
White people.
Oh my God!
Some might say. Yeah, he does have
I can't see
an evil-looking schnoz back in the day.
Let's see.
He was a quote-unquote crafty old man with a giant nose formerly. So I'll let you come to your own conclusions about what stereotype that might have been based on. Let's see here. Okay, and you're going to want to see the video.
Oh, that's
OG Grimace, Ronald. Goodness. They're the same as ever. There's some forgotten characters. I don't know who this pirate is.
I want to know who that pirate is, but we'll get to that.
The Hamburglar, kind of more of a goblin. Back
honestly, this makes me feel like there's some pretty interesting lore that we don't know about like. Holy crap! This is something else.
It's dawning on me that the Joker, Batman's villain, may have been based on Ronald and the Hamburglar if they combined sort of powers.
Well, he sort of has Riddler energy almost, doesn't he?
That's true.
He's wearing the eye thing a la the Riddler. You know, patterns on the jumpsuit. There's that.
You got Gandalf also, this guy, on the right.
Yeah, Gandalf on the right kind of looks like Dr. Robotnik from Sonic. Is he not giving that to you guys?
Interesting. I feel like he's too beardy and needs to be more mustache based, but otherwise,
you're right. It's mostly just because he has this like thing around
like
him.
Dr. Wily, maybe from Mega Man, or even the kindly robot scientist who makes Mega Man. I think is who I'm thinking of. Who's
Dr.
that guy?
Calmly.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about.
And there is something fucking hot going on in the top sort of right corner of that image.
Dr. Thomas Light is who I'm thinking of. But he does have a full head of hair. Anyway, we've spent more than enough time on this. Let's get into our first segment.
Yeah.
We'll spin. Sorry, I just distracted. We'll spin the wheel.
Yeah. I can tell you're fucking distracted. Okay, National Anthem Throwdown. This is from Heather Stephenson. Participants must sing as much of another participant's national anthem as they can. If only Canadians and Thomas are present, then Kevin's national anthem is counted as Trinidad's. Deathly silence falls over the crew hearing this.
Yeah, I mean, this is not that interesting. Maybe the lyrics of the national anthems. Maybe we look up the
I think, I thought it might be fun for the two of you to try to sing the American national anthem, how much of it that you can remember. I bet you know the first line, maybe?
I bet I do.
And then I'd be interested to sort of see where
that
we
also,
go.
Yeah, you're really going to get us fucking canceled over here.
Oh, yeah, you're not really allowed to sort of honor our country at this moment.
Well, yeah, because, of how bad it is.
Yeah, it's really bad out here.
Yeah. I'm just pulling up the lyrics here to the Trinidadian one. Wow, and they are.
I know a
short,
lot of the Trinidadian anthem, but I don't think I know every word.
Yeah, no way, Jose. Right? No way you know the lyrics to the Trinidadian.
No, I know a fair bit of it though. I just don't know it like by heart.
Right.
I think I could get the gist.
You think you're as familiar with it as I am with the American national anthem?
I would bet we'd be similar. How does the American national anthem start, Ben or Kevin?
Oh, you're gonna defer to me for this?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because I definitely know. And
do you have to salute when you do the anthem?
I can. I think you might touch your heart. Sort of put your hand on your heart, something like that.
Okay.
You certainly aren't allowed to kneel. That seems to be verboten for some reason.
Kneeling, it's bad. We don't like.
And don't even try Patrick Harrising either.
God.
I don't know what that means. But I got a reaction from Thomas.
Like Neil Patrick Harris? Like Neil.
Oh my God.
You couldn't follow the expert comedic
Am I
structure
stupid
of that
or was that bad?
Like the two are not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I'm a little bit dumb and it was a little bit not fun.
There's a universe Ben wears both. Yeah.
I was thinking of like if it was another football player that did something that pissed off, a group of people. So I was stuck on that.
Right. That would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a football player named Patrick Harris.
First word.
Oh,
of
say
the anthem.
can you see?
There we go.
Yep.
By the dawn's early light.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's about that. I'm gonna get them mixed up at this point. That you say something
Kevin,
about a
pick
Star
up the
Spangled
next
Banner.
line.
Oh man. You know what I just started doing it to in my head? Here's what I just started doing in my head. Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light?
What is the tune that you're replicating?
That is it's a Christmas song. What the fuck is it?
Yes.
Noel.
Yeah.
Noel.
Oh no! Now that's what I'm doing. I can't fucking get it out. I don't. I was saying
early
light. Is it but so no? That's not. That's not.
It is what so, not but
what
so
gallantly held.
It's close. What so proudly we hailed.
Oh,
hold on. Are you reading that?
No, I know
we
it.
proudly so hailed.
You looked off to the side when you said it.
No, I definitely know it. I'm American, guys. I know this.
By
Someone
the twilight's last gleaming?
At the twilight's last gleaming.
That's the best line, right?
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Not bad.
God, this is fun. Let's see what we think the next line is.
No.
They start describing the flag.
Oh.
Why did you react?
Was that helping you?
We describe the flag here.
Yeah. 50 stars in the top left-hand corner. Stripes
whose broad
everywhere.
stripes and bright stars.
They don't say 50 stars.
Through the perilous fight, or the ramparts we watched
He's
were so
absolutely
gallantly, streaming. Do they say yeah?
This is not a very good national anthem. Like
it actually sounds. I disagree. It sounds good.
But here's the thing I don't like about it. It doesn't represent America at all. This is the most like overwritten, like bombastic, like gallantly held. I don't think I've ever heard an American say the word gallantly.
Well,
Rampart?
You have to remember there was a certain
Rampart?
Not that America was ever good, but there was this certain like promise of a better land when it began, like some sort of belief that we could create a better nation somehow. Not that was ever fulfilled, but they had lofty ambitions. I mean, this also was probably written like more recently than you'd think,
because it talks about rockets, right?
Yeah,
like
rockets and bombs.
They're not writing about the founding fathers aren't writing about rockets, you know?
Yeah,
no,
because they're talking about the Houston basketball team, right?
They were writing about politics and shit.
Yeah.
And
well, let's give a guess at how the Trinidadian anthem might start.
Yeah. Do you guys want to hear the first like musical part? Because
does it rhyme, Kevin? Is it a rhyming thing? Maybe you give us a line and we guess what the follow-up is.
Let me just look at it here because I actually don't know. So let's see.
Yeah, it does rhyme. It's an A-B rhyme structure.
Okay.
It looks like. Yeah. And it's
do you mean AA?
No, it's like. Yeah, A-A-B-B.
Okay.
Wait, no.
Like
A-B,
the first
A-B.
line rhymes with the second line, or the
first line rhymes with the third
okay.
line.
Then
so
give us
like,
the first two. We'll give the next two.
Okay.
Surely.
Do you want to hear? Let me just play this. I don't know what the rhythm is.
Yeah.
This is the fanfare that starts it. And then it says, "Forged from the love of liberty, in the fires of hope and prayer.
This is the land where we are free."
Wait, what?
Go ahead, Ben.
What was the second line again?
In the fires of hope and prayer. So it has to rhyme with prayer.
Oh my God. Oh God. I'm so.
That is what they're praying to.
I was so prepared to do the third line because I was like, I can get a rhyme for this, and prayer has stumped.
Why don't you jump in on the third line? We'll scrap what I said. I'll pick
Caribbean
up the
Sea.
Ooh, the Caribbean Sea.
So you were so
good.
prepared, and it was just something Caribbean Sea.
Yeah, wow.
I
said I could make a rhyme. I didn't say I could figure out the whole line, Kevin.
Something was the first 50% of what you had to offer.
Here in the Caribbean Sea.
and then my line, yada yada blah blah blah, land of fair.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. Should I give you the accurate lyrics?
Yeah.
Or do you? Yeah. Okay. The accurate lyrics were, so it goes, "Forged from the love of liberty, in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare." And then there's a colon.
So they're building up to a big declaration, and
which
Ben,
is interesting because this whole thing is literally 10 lines long. Like, so we've got 4 and 2 to go.
So what might they declare? What might they be about to announce about their great nation?
Now, I have to say, I was giving Ben shit. But let me just read the next 2 lines, okay?
It goes something.
Listen. Side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea.
Oh, nice. Wow. Give that man his job back.
I deserve
Vindication.
So they said something Caribbean Sea.
Some might say yes. So side by side we stand.
I don't think we're gonna top that. Let's go to an ad break.
We got it. We don't need to know
segments.
what the rest of it is. This is suppressing brown voices. Just sort of Thomas's
No, it
next
isn't.
podcast
Hand it
will
off
be
to
doing
these 2 white guys.
without me. Is it? Yeah.
Webster's Dictionary defines podcast as a domesticated, odd-toed, hoofed mammal with a great affinity for oats.
That's a horse.
Oh, right.
But we are a podcast, and we're called Roommate Lovers.
We do advice questions such as, why is my roommate using my toothbrush?
How do I flirt without being creepy?
Why are you using my toothbrush?
I told you, I just couldn't find my net.
Gross.
We live together and are together, which is why we call the show Roommate Lovers.
We're roommate and lover. We're roommates and lovers.
Well said.
Gross. Find new episodes of Roommate Lovers on Mondays wherever you podcast.
Now that's a podcast of a different color.
You mean horse?
Yes, of course.
We are back. Ben, do you have a seggy for us?
I do have a seggy. Okay.
Oh, seggy.
Yeah.
Seggy.
So it's based off the pretty dumb bit that I did with I assume friend of the show, Quinn.
Who?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so one of you has distanced yourself.
Kevin and Quinn have had a falling out of sorts.
Yeah.
But
I've sort of had a balling out, I would say.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
in that
sounds good.
I'm sort of spending money in the club. I'm jumping up and down, wearing sort of pants that reveal, I guess.
Reveal what?
A ball.
Okay.
Oh, so you've gone balls out at the club.
And you expose yourself
you're sort
to
of
Quinn.
And he won't talk to me. Won't return my calls.
The shit from the movie Waiting to our friend Quinn.
I gave him the goat.
Yeah.
I said, how's that for King James?
God. Was Quinn involved in that show, or do you mean the show you worked on without him?
Also, if you say someone got my goat, does that mean they saw your balls?
Yeah. That's why we call him Billy the Kid.
I think I've been pretty generous, and I've let this show get off the rails a number of times, but I think it's time to crack down on this and give the reins to Ben to really introduce a segment and get us on track, because this has been
Well,
Sorry,
so once upon a time, Quinn and I and some others were seeing a play, and afterwards we were talking about it, and it was a little bit comedic, but it was pretty grounded for quite a lot of it. And I said, boy, I could really punch up that show. I feel like there's a lot of moments that could be so much funnier. Okay. And so this is a little segment called Punch Ups, where we're gonna just talk about dramatic films.
Punch ups, right? Not punch downs. So
we're not punching
I guess
down.
Thomas won't be that great at it.
Do that. Wow. A lot of deep-seated resentment there that I can.
I don't think so.
Okay.
So we just need to make
we're just going to
discuss
dramatic films. And then we're going to just, in as few changed plot points as possible, make it a comedy.
This is great. Ben, are you going to give us the names, or should we suggest our own films?
I was going to start with Forrest Gump.
Okay.
I'm happy to have you guys bring your own suggestions into this. If someone else doesn't know the movie, or hasn't seen, rather, the movie that we're talking about, feel free to give your own synopsis.
Mm-hmm.
And we can discuss further. We can start with Forrest Gump.
I do think, the thing about Forrest Gump is he's present at many historical events in American history, sort of stumbling into them. So there could probably be some funnier incidents that he is involved in than the ones that they depict.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The JFK assassination.
Yeah. One of the funniest things that ever happened.
So in your mind, Kevin, if we wanted Forrest Gump to be a comedy, it's really funny if he's standing next to the grassy knoll as JFK is killed.
Well, I'll even go so far as to say there.
Forrest, run, because he has to not get caught.
We're under attack, Forrest.
I think he might be the second shooter, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's detained.
Yeah, I think he's detained, and he's put in a CIA sort of black site for the remainder of his life.
Modern Gump would be at January 6th. Obviously, that's a classic thing he stumbles into.
Yeah.
He's convinced to take a dump on Pelosi's desk, thinking that's
he's the one.
Is Forrest Gump funnier, just Mr. Bean?
If you just replace him with Bean.
Yeah. He's played by
Rowan Atkinson.
Atkinson. So if he's playing, that's very good.
That could be good.
I feel like someone saw.
And Jenny could be Jenny Slate. And then you've got a comedy.
That's true.
Mr. Bean, aging Mr. Bean, and pretty youthful
and
Jenny Slate
with AIDS is where we're going.
Yeah, we've arrived.
Yeah, and that's
I'm laughing.
Hilarious. Yeah,
I think this works. I like this. Okay, I like this. Okay.
Would you like to throw another one out there, or should I?
How about Oh no, that's a slightly more unique one. I'm trying to think of one that like people will have heard of and seen. That's a sad one. Do you got one, T?
Kevin's movie taste is too esoteric for this bit.
Kevin's
honestly, well, just the sad movies. I was gonna say, have you guys seen The Diving Bell and the Butterfly?
I have. It's a great movie.
Have you seen it, Ben?
No, but in this case, I would love a synopsis if you want to give one.
Thomas, you can help me out if I'm incorrect about these details because it's been a minute, but I remember it being a very affecting movie when I saw it.
Yeah.
It's a POV style movie, so it's all shot from a point of view of somebody who is, I believe, a coma patient, right?
He has something called locked-in syndrome, where he's only able to move one eye to communicate, but he's still conscious. He's sort of trapped in his body, only able to move one eyelid to speak. And he narrates this book. His name is Jean-Dominique Bobby, and he was this formerly sort of playboy, had various relationships, wrote for a magazine, and now he's forced to write the book that the movie is based on by narrating to his nurse through blinks.
You really saved my ass here. Holy shit.
A lot of the movie is told through the perspective of the first-person view of just his eye line, which is very, very interesting.
It's good. It's a very good movie.
Yeah,
and it's heartbreaking.
Maybe instead of that, it's told through the perspective of his ass. And it's the same movie, but the camera's in his ass, and
it's just the black of his hospital bed.
Yeah.
And then there's one interesting, you look forward to the two moments in the film where he just takes his shit because it's like the most interesting part of the movie.
Yeah. It's like, what was that movie where they show the birth canal and everything? That kind of trippy movie. It's called like, they show the whole birthing process, but you could do that with, I'm going to look it up.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That sounds like
I can imagine
educational footage.
Yeah.
I guess I'm thinking of The Miracle of Life.
By George Tolles.
By George Tolles. Why is he most involved?
I just meant like it's a video your parents forced you to watch and not like a real film. Is all I was implying. But I laughed too hard and couldn't get your mom's name out of my mouth.
I was thinking of Enter the Void.
As well, but
I remember that too.
Yeah,
a bad TV screen.
Yeah. Why did I?
Somebody wheeled in a cart and showed me my first look at a fucking woman's crotch, and it was really something else.
It was just awful to behold. I don't want to watch a birth happen.
Yeah.
The movie was Enter the Void, where you do see both the intercourse sort of from the perspective of the genitals and then the birthing process and this sort of a surreal experimental sequence at the end. Anyway, so that would be kind of funny.
That would be funny.
Yeah, that would be pretty funny. That would be a larf.
The diving bell and the butterfly, but it's just a fucking dick going into a fucking vagina.
My God.
From the eye of
it would be. Yeah.
Oh my God.
It would be funny if instead of, because like a lot of his life, right, he's trapped in this hospital room
but he was a playboy.
Well, no, but I imagine if a lot of his life he was just watching cartoons. So maybe the movie could just be him like watching a Simpsons episode or something. I'd be laughing. I love The Simpsons.
A blurry, out of perspective version of it's like hacking a Disney, like a badly pirated episode of The Simpsons. Essentially, is watching
just a
this
TV
movie
in the corner. You're watching a Treehouse of Horror. He's laughing. We're laughing.
Yeah, I guess it's like fun. The episode is important, right? But
yeah.
He's just making really filthy advances at his nurse, and it switches out which nurse is treating him every 20 minutes because they get so disgusted and has to move on.
Yeah,
that actually is something he kind of does in the movie.
That does happen in the movie, and
getting
close.
He's a flirty guy. He used to be a handsome playboy. Okay, I got one.
What you got?
E.T. How would we make E.T. a funnier film? Pretty heartbreaking movie about childhood divorce, alien visitation.
When I was a boy, my something that my stepmom and dad would do a lot would be they would have an affinity for Bollywood films, Indian movies, and I don't know if either of you have ever seen a Bollywood film.
Not sure that I have.
No fans of Kuch Hotahe or anything like that here. No. Anyway, Bollywood cinema is interesting, and they make a lot of movies. One of the things that Bollywood cinema does is they'll make like sort of remakes or their own versions of popular American movies. And there is, I remember quite distinctly, this very peculiar Bollywood film growing up called Jadoo. It was essentially Bollywood E.T. I'll see if I can find a picture of Jadoo, because he alone was quite humorous looking, if I recall correctly.
So just changing the design of the alien could do a lot of the work.
Yeah, that's true. If it was just a really funny looking alien.
Yeah, I was imagining the like "Take Me to Your Dealer" alien from those old T-shirts you would buy at gift shops. That would kind of
looks like that. Here we are, not entirely, but I'll show you what we're looking at here. That's Jadoo. So
okay,
that's the main man himself.
He's got hair.
Yeah. You're looking at the guy on the right. You think it's the guy on the right? You think it's the human Indian man?
His hair.
The alien also looks like he has hair, but
that's the thing.
It may
it
be
looks
a
like
hood.
It's a really funny bit of hair, but I see now it's a hood.
He kind of has big Pokemon anime eyes, which I like.
Right.
He's kind of alluring and sexy in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will remind you, he was played by a 12-year-old, just so that we know.
Well, 12-year-olds are allowed to have jobs.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, Jadoo was working illegally, though.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's that. I mean, it could also just be like modern, where like a kid finds an alien and doesn't give a shit because he doesn't know what Skibbity Toilet is, and then
yeah,
Boring,
like the kids just kind of dunk on the alien because they're like obsessed with iPads.
Bullies ET relentlessly and just
just
them kicking
out
of him.
Aren't there a few comedy movies where this is essentially the premise? Like, isn't there like one where like I think it's like Nick Frost and someone else come across it, or
like Paul or
Alan or something? Paul.
Oh yeah, Paul.
Yeah.
That's a Simon Pegg movie, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, obviously his dick's glowing red instead of his finger. That's just good comedy. Yeah, and it's the same function in the movie. It also heals, but it just happens to be his little alien dick. And so,
which makes it way harder for the government to back down.
At the end, Elliot has to touch it and say goodbye. I mean, that's just that's gonna.
And how old is Elliot in the movie? I want to say 12. I just don't. I'm not
12.
Yeah, probably around 12. Yeah.
Can you guys hear the radiator squealing?
Oh yeah, it's been super loud.
I moved to the other table hoping it would make it better, but clearly not.
Perhaps. But I mean,
look, they're not all going to be winners. This has been fine. I'm just saying, not all the episodes are going to be listenable, but we do our best here. And this one, swing and a miss.
It would have killed you to go back to your apartment for 2 hours to do this properly.
I wasn't able
in
to.
the paper-thin walls of your already shitty to record in apartment.
Yeah, look, I bring down the quality of the podcast. I'm sure it's a major reason we haven't picked up much of an audience. It's hard to listen to. It sounds bad.
Listen, man, I'm not going to go around and shame you for the place you live when I know for a fact the reason we haven't picked up much of an audience is the quality of the show, the quality of the guests, the quality of the content, and nothing else.
At this point, we're kind of just pushing around an old bowling ball.
Yeah, maybe maybe not even a bowling ball, because I feel like that would almost be like it's smoothly going to roll around. I would say like a dildo.
Nice, yeah.
Like
and it's this kind of humor, like this is where we go almost every time.
And this is why we'll never.
Kevin's had Thomas Nuts to Sea Sponges in the back for like 5 episodes
because
straight.
No one has commented on it, and the policy was until it gets acknowledged, it stays behind me.
Interesting. I did take.
No, it isn't, Ben. That's what we're saying. It's not interesting.
You did start.
You need to stop buttering us.
You want to punch something up? Punch up the show.
How would you fix this podcast?
Okay. Yeah.
Our last dying gasps.
Fucking
note. Kevin started the show with a fat rip of a vape that he couldn't hold down.
That was not a vape.
Starting words of the show because you were coughing. Immediately.
So a show can't be hosted by a deeply intoxicated person on a regular basis? That's a problem?
What's the top show you think that is the case?
Genuinely the Joe Rogan podcast. Genuinely. That guy is on ketamine every other episode, I'm pretty sure.
Used up all his DMT in his brain. Well, look, just because the first 40 minutes haven't worked doesn't mean we can't close strong. Let's spin the wheel. Let's get one more segment. We punched up some sad movies, but it's time to get random. And we're going to close out with this. Woo! 4 and 7 years ago, participants will recount best playground game strategies from childhood.
Strategies, specifically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ben, I feel like you had the moves at recess. I feel like people were starting to tremble when Krawchuk came to the field.
Hey,
what were some of your playground moves?
You guys play grounders?
Oh
yes, this was the thing I was gonna fucking say about this. Yes,
I mean, the where you got your eyes like this, but you got one just a little bit open.
You're peeking.
I can see you guys right now. But when you're on the playground and you're running away from the guy who's shit. You can't tell. You can't tell.
For the listeners who at home who maybe don't know what grounders is, it's a sort of form of tag where there is one person who is it, and it's played on a play structure usually, and you have your eyes closed if you are it, and everyone else can have their eyes open, and they're sort of and you're sort of feeling your way around the play structure. It's a rather dangerous game, but if they can, at any point the person with their eyes closed who is it can yell out the phrase grounders, and if your feet are touching the ground at that point of the play structure, not the ground of the play structure, but the actual ground of the playground, then you are out and you become it. So that's the basic rules, if I'm not mistaken, boys.
I believe that's correct. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
And it sounds like a lot of the seekers were peeking. So it
more
wasn't
peekers than
really
seekers.
A fair game. Kevin, did you ever peek out of your little eyes?
I like to think no, because part of me when I was playing grounders, it was sort of when I did a lot of like jackass style stunts in middle school, and this was sort of pre that. So the thrill of potentially getting hurt was kind of something I wasn't as afraid of when we were playing grounders. But I have to imagine that sometimes, yes. I mean, it's it can get quite dangerous. Like it's like you can get pretty severely hurt doing this. So I don't think
I feel like
I never did. So yeah.
A good strategy if you were hiding is I would like to climb up really high, somewhere that they wouldn't really be able to get to with their eyes closed.
Yeah.
Or you do the move where you touch the ground and then lift your foot up, so they call grounders, and then you do the quick sprint to the next area.
Yeah, where they're almost
twice in a row.
They're almost pre-ground. They've already grounded. Yeah. Did you have strategies, Ben?
Bars, and then when they say grounders,
beyond cheating,
monkey bars, and you're like, I'm not.
That's good.
I'm not touching the ground anymore.
Lift your legs up. That's crucial.
I feel like, Thomas, you would be very good at those games because you're like a little monkey man, sort of.
I do like to climb. I love to climb back in my playground days.
Yeah. Both of you monkey men of yourselves.
Monkey bars I've found a lot harder, certainly, now that I'm closer
I hate
to like
those.
230, 240 pounds. It's not as easy to lift yourself. Have you, either of you as adults, been to a trampoline park?
No, I haven't. I've wanted to go though.
I'm
just
a little
feels
scared
like
of this.
I'm now at the age where it's now weird.
Age.
When I was like 30, 31 would have been okay. I'm going to be 35 this year. I don't think I can go to a trampoline park anymore as an adult. I think there's a cutoff.
I think the time was not even 30 or 31. I think it was long past at that point because I'm not.
I mean, yes, but I think it's the time when it. Yeah. I don't think I can do it anymore. I wish I'd done it when I was younger. Yeah.
I sort of have a fantasy of an adult bounce house, which I remember loving so much, but I'm worried that my easily bruised and broken body will just kind of fall apart in there once I really dive in.
Yeah. It feels dangerous the whole time you're doing it. Like when you're a kid, you can just be like, I'm so high up. On this one, I'm just going to flop on my back and that'll be fine. This, as an adult, is like, I'm jumping really high right now. If I land wrong, I will damage my body permanently. You know?
Yeah. I do sort of like that idea. Again, the danger is thrilling.
Explode.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, it does seem like a surefire. I hear people who are like younger than me who like lift up a fucking tray wrong and they just fuck up their whole arm. And it's like, oh, so yeah, maybe I won't go jumping into a bounce house. Like that doesn't seem like a good idea. But yeah, it could be fun. It could be fun.
I want to briefly shout out Foursquare, which this segment is named after.
Yeah.
I loved Foursquare.
What is Foursquare? I feel like I did play it, but I don't recall it.
So, it's sort of 4 squares and you rotate depending on who gets out. There's a lineup of kids waiting to go in. You start in square 4. You try to get up to square 1. I believe square 1 serves. They get a bit of an advantage. And then you get kind of 1 bounce in your square, and then you have to hit it to a different square. If it bounces twice, you're out kind of deal.
Okay.
Some of the big moves in Foursquare I remember was like, one was called Spike, where you'd bounce it really, really high. Try to bounce it so high that they'd have to like run back and hit it into a different square, which was fun. There was also something called Death, where it was more like low and fast, and you would try to like bounce it so it would shoot really far out of the square quickly.
How big roughly are each of these quadrants?
Not huge, so it's fairly small.
And what kind of ball are you playing with? Like one of those like bouncy kind of dodgeball-y kind of things?
Rubber kickball dodgeball type of thing. Yeah. Did you have any special moves that you would go to in Foursquare, Ben?
Well, whenever I played it as a kid, I feel like everyone would agree upon like which set of rules we're using. Like, could you like double bounce it, or could you do like spikes and stuff? Because spikes were like, you're screwed if someone spikes it. So they were like, are we allowed to? And so everyone would like come up with special moves, and I would just like fake people out, where I would just like go like I was gonna hit it into someone else's square, and then just like go off to my left and do someone else's square.
Oh, that's crafty. That's crafty.
And kids never see that coming. You can outsmart other kids so easily.
Right. And you're talking about a game you played last weekend, right?
Yes.
Just to
I
be
still
clear.
go to my elementary school, and I just dunk on them.
I will say, as an adult, a couple times my friends and I were like, we should play Foursquare. I miss it. And when we were like 20 or something, we went to an elementary school at night to play. We weren't even drinking. We weren't being like that bad. We just went to play. Yeah. And within like half an hour, the cops were called on us just for like making noise in a residential area at a school, I guess.
That's so weird.
It felt like the spiritual equivalent of being too old to go on a trampoline. Like, we're now too old to play this game without the police being called on us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is sort of like, what the hell? Right?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We're playing a game,
that sucks.
Officers, and then they join you. They're like, well, you guys playing Foursquare?
That's what they
here?
should have done.
Are you doing double bouncies?
Yeah.
They arrest us for spiking.
Yeah, no spiking it, dude.
No spiking.
Takes a turn and they just beat the shit out of you. Yeah. Become really aggressive.
You're sitting
cops
in the back
again.
of the cop car watching them play Foursquare and having a great time.
The shit rules. Did you guys ever like make up your own like sports or games when you were kids?
Oh, yes.
Like when I was young, I invented and even made like I think a GeoCities website for something called the Water Breaking Federation, which was breakdancing in water. That's what it was. That's what it was supposed to be.
The name is ill chosen, I would say.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that. That is great.
It's so ill chosen that it made your story hard to follow. It sounded like something so serious was being discussed.
Water Breaking Foundation.
Yeah. Federation, my friend, not foundation. Yeah.
So you breakdance in the water, like underwater, so you can sort of move in slow motion. That's kind
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And everyone
that'd be cool if you did that
moves.
in slow motion, and because you're under the water, and then you speed up all the footage, so it looks like they're doing it at speed underwater.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. This was
That
long
is
before
pretty
I was
cool.
even in the only way I was recording anything was with a webcam back then, which I guess was sort of come full circle. Yeah.
We created one game that was sort of like lacrosse mixed with dodgeball, maybe mixed with basketball. So instead of like shooting it in a goalie, there would be little like apple crates that you would try to get your ball in. But the defensive team had a dodgeball that they could hit you with. And if they did, you would have to give up possession. In my memory, it was pretty fun because you're kind of passing and there's like a different thing depending on if you're offensive or defensive.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one.
Did you have any of these, Ben?
I don't think I had any that we made up, but I have one that I like. We played in my gym class in elementary school, and when I've brought it up to other people to see if other schools did it, it seems like generally no. We would play castle dodgeball. Does that sound familiar?
Okay.
Oh, wait, is that like where like
bit.
one group has like a fortress essentially?
You would both get
Like
to set up like those gym mats that have the
Yeah,
Velcro
yeah.
edges, and you'd get to like build a structure and like a fort on your side of the gym, and then play dodgeball. And so you could like you'd have places to hide, but you would
That's
try
fucking
to, like,
sick.
coordinate with your team to all throw at one.
I mean, that's more or less what we did for like the Quinn and Mo's like engagement thingamajig, right? Like we kind of did that with less mats, probably.
Yeah. We only had, like, one or two mats, right? Like not a lot.
Yeah.
I loved gym class. Like it was just such a great opportunity for games and play in a way with like enough people that weren't at an elite level that you could actually have fun with it. Like I miss that so much, and I feel like as an adult, anyone who's going to do a rec league for dodgeball or something is going to be a little more serious about it. So it won't be as fun as those days where it's just like, it's just 20 of us.
Having participated in a rec dodgeball league, it's like you gotta mix in there, you know? There's people that you're like, wow, there's nowhere higher for you to go with this, but you should be doing it in like a higher league,
a professional level
to you.
Right.
And then there's people who are just, you know, they're maybe in their 40s, a majority of them, and they'll take it really, really seriously, which I can only assume is like, this is the thing you're good at and the rest of your life is not going so well, which is why you get really, really angry.
This is my safe space, motherfucker.
They just there's people. So
and I got you out!
There's people who have like called the ref and been like, in the rules, it says this, so that person should be out right now.
God.
And they get really rules lawyery about dodgeball.
Yeah.
Which can kill the enjoyment.
It's like you learned how to do this when you were changing into shorts and socks beside a bunch of other stinky boys. Like, calm down. This is nothing.
You should have to have like the most humiliating moment of your life showering next to your classmates after this game.
Yeah.
Which as an adult just doesn't carry the same stigma.
No.
Also, like, a related memory I have is that I worked at Mini U, which has a lot of like, it's like an athletic camp for kids, but they also have teachers that will teach specific subjects. And the teachers are less of athletes than just like the group leaders who are sporty people. So we had like one guy who was like, I think on like the national Canadian team for ultimate frisbee, like really athletic, skilled people. But then the teachers like me, I taught the drama camp, were not very athletic. And we had our own like teacher dodgeball team of just the instructors against the like sporty teachers who were all just really athletic. And we just got our shit destroyed by these people. It was so scary to play against them.
Yeah.
They threw it so hard. They were coordinating like alley-ooping balls and then just like whipping them at us. It was like genuinely scary.
That's terrifying.
My girlfriend played on the same rec dodgeball team. It's a bunch of our mutual friends. Quinn and Bo were on the team as well. And there's definitely people who just throw it truly so hard. And Quinn and his brother Connor both are like they've played, you know, slow pitch and everything, and they got arms.
They got some
like
arm.
cannons.
They got arms on them. Yeah.
The sound that the ball makes when it hits the wall after those two throw it, genuinely terrifying. And so it's the same both ways, right? Because if you're like, if you're trying to hit somebody, no matter who it is, you're going to throw it as fast as you can so that they don't catch it and get you out, right? And so there's definitely people who don't take that so kindly, but then everyone on their team is doing it to you, and you're like, well, there's got to be an agreement.
It feels like
here.
that's like kind of a cyclical thing, right? Like, well, here's the thing: do Quinn and Connor ever feel like they're getting hit by balls that are too hard?
No, because they can.
Okay, so they're doing it right then. The thing is, I thought it might be perceptive, where like you're always whipping it as hard as you can, and then you're like, "Oh fuck, calm down, dude!" Like,
and then whipping it at them.
Yeah,
but my girlfriend, for example, she's smaller. She's not going to take a ball being thrown at max velocity as well as Quinn or Connor will. So
and that's like, because Mr. Velocity is kind of someone she looks up to.
And then we're doing the same thing, though.
Right. Exactly. Because she looks up to Mr. Velocity, right?
Yeah.
She doesn't like it when balls are thrown at max velocity.
This has been Oops All Segments. Thank you so much for coming on, Ben. It's been such a joy to have you. Although we had humble beginnings at the beginning of the show, I feel like we really found our voice as we went along. And we're going to do this for 125 more. So is there anything that you'd like to point people to plug as we conclude this episode?
You know what? Not really. Watch and listen to Oops All Segments in the future.
Hey, thanks.
Hey. Yeah.
Thanks. That's one way to punch up the show. Also, make sure you check out our other podcast, What We Do in the Basement. It's a Let's Play D&D podcast. It's a comedy show. It's very funny. We've got like 80 plus episodes out. They are a raucous good time. And Club Soda Improv is doing a show on April the 4th, which is coming up we're probably barreling towards that date. Friday, 8 p.m., Gas Station Arts Center. You're going to show up. You're going to be like, holy fucking shitty fuck dicks. It's Club Soda's 8th birthday. We're gonna see some improv, some high level, really intelligent, fucking crazy freaking doo-doo blasting, insane, smart, high level shit that is out of this world. I'm so excited, and you're gonna pay money for the tickets. You're gonna come and sit down. You're gonna laugh. You're gonna love. You're gonna live. You're gonna shit your pants with fucking happiness.
It's always this. It's always this.
And the show
you just let him talk for long enough. It always gets here.
What do you mean it always gets here? It always
just gets to shit and dicks and fucking. It's like you can't think of anything else.
I don't have the comedic brain, right?
I know. That's what I'm complaining about.
Yeah, I'm a bass.
I feel like you should, right?
Practice makes perfect, but I ain't practicing shit. All I do is make. So it ain't perfect, right?
Right.
Because I don't practice. Everything's got to be released. Everything's got to be content.
In 4 more years, Club Soda could work at McDonald's.
Oh, yeah.
Because we'll be 12. We'll be 12. We'll be 12. That's pretty good.
And see, that didn't have a dick or a pussy in it, so it was actually fine.
Because it was 12.
You've hopped on,
and that would be wrong.
I haven't.
You've stooped.
I'm pointing out that I didn't do that.